Okay, so today is Monday, August 31st, and this meeting is with the GGFOA board. We're going to talk about how to use Twitter, first for the upcoming conference in October, but also just generally to promote what's going on in GGFOA. And so I hope everybody has had the opportunity to set up a Twitter account. It's pretty easy to do. You can see this is my Twitter here on the left. Um, Sometimes, surprisingly, your name is already taken, and mine was in various formats. So this is what I came up with at TYarner4. I use this for my professional Twitter. You can have multiple identities on Twitter. And so I've got a personal Twitter that I use, but this is what I use for work because I don't like to mix those things. So it's really up to you as far as how many Twitter accounts you want to have. You want to try to upload a photo because that helps, with your connection, and it gives you an opportunity. You can see I've got the link to the Carl Vincent Institute website where I work. I work downtown in the Atlanta office. And so generally speaking, there's several things to know when you're tweeting. You want to be able to tweet as something is going on. So I'm going to start off by just showing you guys some of my tweets because I think we learn by example. And one of the things I would recommend is that you have to go out and start getting people that you're following, meaning you would locate people. Let me move this over. You can locate people on Twitter. Up here in the upper right, see where it says search Twitter? You can go in and type people's names, and when you find them, you have the option to select follow. So who said that they recently had a Twitter account they added? Was that you, Mike?
Yeah. Me too.
Okay.
Pearson as well.
Kelly, sorry.
Um, Mike, what is your Twitter handle?
It's Mike Bush, GGFOA.
Mike Bush. Okay, so see, this is Mike. So I'm going to click on this is what I would do to find people that I want to follow. And what that means is what they have to say on Twitter is going to show up on my Twitter feed, which is what we're looking at right here. So if I looked up Mike Bush, you could see over here on the far right, I have the option to follow him. So I'm going to follow you, Mike. Mike, you
Okay.
probably want to, upload a picture when you get a chance because this is like the default,
Okay.
which is until you upload something. So now I'm following him. Um, Sometimes you may get to the point where you don't want to follow anybody any longer. You have the option to unfollow as well. And thank you, Mike, because you're already following me and John Holsey and 26 others people. And so one of the ways that I like to add to the people that I'm following is to go out and see, like, for example, I could look through all of Mike Bush's contacts and say, I know them and I want to follow them too. So when you're following people, what they tweet is going to show up on your timeline so you kind of know what's going on with them. I mean, I'm following GGFOA. I try to follow various professional organizations. We just set up a Twitter account for the financial management program, which you see over here on the right. So I'd love it if you all could follow that. We're going to talk about things going on in the program. But you can see there's lots of different people that I either work with, organizations that I work with that I want to know, what's going on, what do they have to say. So, and you start to build your network because as you follow people, they're going to look to see who you're following, and then you're just casting the web further and further. So definitely go out there and look and see who's available to follow and start to build your audience. You can see I'm still building my audience, and I think that once you all get on, we can start to expand the network by following each other. So let me see if I can get back to my Twitter feed.
Tracy, where do you go to see who to follow again?
Okay, so like for example, if I did, I'm going to do my example with Mike Bush again. So I'm going to do Mike Bush, GGFOA,
Okay,
right? All right, so if
gotcha.
I do that, what I can do when he comes up is I can see who he's following, and then I can decide that I want to follow some of these people as well. Now, I can just decide that I want to follow Mike Bush, and it tells me right now I am following him. But other people in his profile, or I can just go out there and just blindly search for people that I know are on Twitter as well. Either one of those ways will help. But when you're first building like your network, go out there and find people that have similar interests to you, whether they're organizations, that might be your city or your county, GGFOA, other professional organizations that you're involved with, and that's the way you start to build whose information comes in on your timeline, which is what I opened up with today. So this is, yes.
It appears that the online, when you're on an actual computer, is a bit different than the mobile version. How do
Yeah.
you, on a mobile version, how do you see who's following you and how many people you're following?
Let me look real quick because I have my phone here. That you're right, it does look a little different on the mobile version. You're going to want to download the app because most of the time when you're tweeting, you're going to be somewhere and you're not going to, let me just get up at the top here. Um, so let me go to, yeah, so what happens is if you have it on your phone, you would just click on the person, like I'm following Charles Hall. And so if I click on him, what shows up on my phone is all of the people he's following. So I can click and I can see everybody who he's following. So if you don't have the Twitter app on your phone, you want to do that because more than likely, most of the time you're not going to be sitting at your computer. I'm showing you all on the computer just because it's easiest in this environment that we're in right now. Um, but do you see that, Alicia? Are you on your
Yeah,
phone?
I do now. Yeah.
So if you're watching and you have the Twitter app already, I'd have that up as well on your phone and just kind of, as we're going through, ask me questions. I'm a recent Twitter person, so I might not know all the answers to your questions, but I do feel like I understand a good bit about it and have started to use it. It's really very valuable in spreading information. So are there other questions before I kind of show you a little bit about tweeting? So recently I was at a conference, and so it was August 22nd, and I was showing a tutorial that I had developed. So this person, I have her name here, was looking at the tutorial, and you'll notice you only have 140 characters, which is not a lot to work with. So you really have to choose your words carefully. So this is Hua Zhang was checking out internal control tutorial. Now, I basically, when you use the @ sign, what that means to Twitter is, okay, this is your handle, kind of like in the old days when people had the radios and everybody had a handle. This is this is your identity on Twitter. So I wanted to let CVIOG underscore UGA, which is the Vincent Institute, know that I had tweeted this, and I also wanted CVIOG underscore FMP to know I had tweeted this because I wanted them to retweet me, and I'll talk to you in a minute about what that means. But if you're at a conference, let's say we're at the GGFOA conference, and I think the Twitter isn't it at GGFOA? Is that correct?
I believe so, but I'm not 100% certain.
Let me just look real quick. Who is the voice behind, there it is, at GGFOA? Who's our person who's actually tweeting behind that?
I know Peter's been doing a lot of things with it.
Okay. because typically what will happen is whoever has this this Twitter handle, they will have their contact information kind of behind it. Like Michelle Jerkowitz, who's our coordinator, she's the face behind our at CVIOG_FMP. And so if I were at, let's say, again, if I were at the GGFOA conference and I was like, wow, great session with Peter Floyd, and again, it's only 140 characters, so you may have to abbreviate somewhat, but I want GGFOA to retweet my tweet. I'm going to put at GGFOA here because I'm saying GGFOA, and that's going to show up on their feed. Look at what I just said about this conference. Once you get on Twitter, especially like if you do it in your personal life, everybody has a Twitter handle. And so that's kind of the way that, like if you're watching news shows, and the way that they get immediate feedback about what they're doing is they'll have, people will tag them like at ABC News or something. And so that's one thing you can do when you're doing a tweet and you know you have an audience that you want to see your tweet, put in their Twitter handle. So in our case, it would be at GGFOA. The other thing you'll notice here is I've got this hashtag CVIOGFMP. This is the way you aggregate information related to a particular event. And so Twitter knows that when you start something with a hashtag, you're basically wanting to gather information about a particular event in one spot. And there's nothing formal about how to establish a hashtag. You just type in hashtag whatever it is you want to try to aggregate information about. So like if I click on this, you can see it's a hyperlink. Every time I tweet, I try to use, if I have enough characters, the hashtag CVIOGFMP, because I'm building a little bit of a kind of a history of what's going on in our program. And so for the key here and the way that people use this, and this happened this summer. I went to a charter schools conference, and what you do is you come up with what you want the hashtag to be. And again, the hashtag is going to go into your 140 character count, so you don't want it to be really long. But for you all, for the conference, what you might want to use your hashtag is hashtag GGFOA15. And you need to communicate to your conference attendees that if you're going to tweet, use hashtag GGFOA15, and that would be everybody who's tweeting about your conference. All of their tweets would get grouped together under this particular hashtag. So this conference that I went to this summer was a charter schools conference. They gave us a hashtag, and they said when you're tweeting, use this hashtag. And so if people at the conference wanted to know what everybody was saying about the conference, they would just go to that hashtag, and then all the different people who were there and who were tweeting, you could see what they were saying, and then you could retweet it. And so what the goal of Twitter is to get your information out there and then get it to spread. Keep in mind that people could also use it negatively. There's not a filter here. So if somebody's going to complain, they can use the hashtag GGFOA15 to complain, but you're going to know about it fairly quickly and perhaps be able to troubleshoot or do something to help resolve their issue. And so what I would say is, once we finish with today, you all would need to make a decision about, do we want to encourage tweeting at the conference? And if we do, what do we want our hashtag to be? And what I think, if you did hashtag GGFOA15, just every year you could change, the last two characters for the conference. I mean, you could just leave it at GGFOA, just hashtag GGFOA, that would work as well. But it's really up to you all, what you want to use. So when I'm when I'm typing in my message, I'm going to want to remember I've only got those 140 characters, and what am I trying to communicate? You could put, let me show you another example. Oh, let me show you this before I move on. So if I'm on the computer and I'm wanting to tweet, it's a lot easier on the computer, obviously, because you have a keyboard, but you can definitely tweet from your phone. But you'll see on the upper right where it says, where it has tweet and then the feather. This is what it would look like if you were going to compose a tweet. And you'll notice down here it has the 140 characters. And so one of the things that I like to do is put a photo in my tweet because I'm at an event, I want people to see what's going on, I'm trying to get people to understand what's going on in our program. So you could add a photo. So if I add a photo, you see there was this particular option, and I could just go down, and this was something I recently tweeted. I'm going to click on it because that's the photo I want to add and I want to open it. And when I did that, look what happened to my character count. It went down 100 from 140 to 117. So the photo is going to take part of your characters. But then what I can do is say, and in this case, I'll show you in a minute what I did, but I was like, thank you to our 2015 Training Advisory Board, something about what they did to help us. And as part of that, I'm going to type my message. So, and I'm not going to actually, but look, do you see in the lower right how my character count is going down? Okay, and then I might say, these are some people that I want to tag because I want them to see this tweet. So there's one, and that's taken up my character account. And I want CVIOG, UGA, and then I want to capture this in the place that I'm capturing what we're doing with FMP here. And so I can, this is the way that I can add a picture, put a little bit of a description. I mean, if you were sitting at GGFOA and let's say you're getting ready to listen to a session, you could take a picture of the presenter. I normally ask people if I can take their picture because some people don't want their picture taken. And so if I'm in a class and I'm teaching a class, I'll say, do y'all mind if I take a picture of you so I can tweet about this class I'm about to teach? And so, I might type getting ready. So if it was GGFOA, getting ready to hear Peter Floyd talk about X, hashtag GGFOA 15. And then if you wanted to, and that would be your personal tweet. Now, whoever is the at GGFOA person who's doing the tweeting, they're going to be wanting to do that as well. But instead of doing what I just did here, let's say I typed in getting ready to hear internal control session at GGFOA because I want to be sure that the person behind that sees my tweet because I want them to retweet me, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Hashtag GGFOA 15. Okay, so you can see I still have 55 characters left, so I could have gone in and made it a little bit longer. And then if it's a person who's on Twitter and you start to type their name, it'll pop up. And what I'll normally do, instead of just typing their name, I'll go in here and I'll put their Twitter handle because I want them to see that I was just tweeting about them. Okay, so ask me questions about this particular piece.
How does the hashtag aggregate information on people? I guess an important part of it, tweeting, you always see the hashtags, and still not clear on how that aggregates information or how you use it.
Okay. Before I go off this screen, because I'm going to go address that question about the hashtag, are there other questions about the way that I structured this tweet, how I put a photo in? If you're on your phone and you took the photo on your phone, typically what you can just do is go to the photo and you'll have an option. Like if I go to a photo on my phone, I have an option where I can tweet it. And so Twitter is one of the ways that I can share it. And so it'll bring up my Twitter app if I select that particular option. Because normally with a photo on your phone, you can email it, you can tweet it, you can put a message about it. All of those things are options. So you're going to want to check that out as well. Other questions about how to add a photo, how to structure your tweet, that kind of thing?
Do you need the address of who you're tweeting up front in the very beginning, or can you put it anywhere?
You can put it anywhere.
Okay.
It's really just up to you. Like in this example, let's say that, let's pretend this was Peter Floyd's handle. When I say handle, I'm saying that's your identity on Twitter. The reason I would do that, Jim, is I would want to conserve my character count. And so I wouldn't want to put his name and his handle. So if there's, like let's say John Holsey is teaching a class and I'm sitting there in his class, he's getting ready to teach, getting ready to hear internal control session at John Holsey UGA. Okay, so now I've conserved my count, and I've also let John know that I just tweeted something about him. And so John might go out there and say, hey, I'm going to retweet this, and I'll show you how to do that as well.
Okay.
So the way you lay it out is really up to you. Typically the hashtags and the @ stuff goes more towards the end, but it doesn't have to be that way. Other questions about this?
Besides adding a photo, maybe I'm getting ahead, but what if you wanted to like include like something from a web page or a Facebook post or something that you wanted to put out there on Twitter? It seems like it's only a thing about adding photos. How would you do other attachments?
The way I typically do that, and whoever asked me the question about the hashtag, don't let me forget to come back to it. Let me come down here.
Same person. Paul Salter.
Oh, hi, Paul.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good.
Okay, you'll see here, let's see. One of the things you need to do here's one. So you'll notice here, let me go to this tweet. You'll notice here I have a web address. The problem with websites is that typically there's a lot of characters involved in them. And so you'll see here I'm using something called a tiny URL. And basically there's a website. Let me bring it up. Have any of y'all used this? Can you see the tiny URL website on my screen? Can y'all see this? Yes. So you notice here it says enter a long URL to make tiny. So if you have let's say a web address that's really long and it's going to take a lot of characters, you just copy and paste it here and it will give you a tiny, meaning smaller URL. So let me just go to, I'm just going to go over here to all right, so I've got this web address. I'm going to copy it and bring it over here to tiny URL and paste it and say make a tiny URL. And it tells me that I had a length of 43 characters and now I have a length of 26 characters and it's this is it. This is the link that it's established. So basically what I do, because you're going to want to be able to put in web links, because especially as a organization, you're going to want to drive people to the website, to different events you have going on. So the way I deal with that, it's easiest in my opinion to do that on a computer because of having to do all of this. But that's typically just what I do is I come and I type in whatever it is I want to say, get my tiny URL, and then in this case I was running out of characters, so I just wanted CVIG, UGA, I just identified them because I know they have a wide audience. So if I'm going to have to pick between who I'm going to tag in my tweet, I'm going to go for the people that have a wide audience. We're still building our audience for CVIG underscore FMP. But you can pretty much put just about anything, in the tweet. And so definitely websites, like for GGFOA, if you were tweeting back when you opened conference registration, somebody would have wanted to say 2015 GGFOA conference registration now open, and you'd put this web address in there after you got a tiny URL. And even now, what you need to do is you need to get the conversation going, however you all want to do it. You could do it on the website, follow us on Twitter, um, tweet about the conference, hashtag GGFOA15. When they come to pick up whatever they're going to pick up at the registration desk, have a sign there that says tweet about the conference, hashtag GGFOA15. If you still have an opportunity, I'd like to give them something that you haven't printed yet, put that on, hashtag GGFOA15, tweet us at, so that, again, what you're trying to do with the hashtag, somebody asked me about this, is you want to take all the conversations going on about a particular topic and put them together in one place. So this is what it would be like. It would be like if everybody went to an event and took all their pictures of the event, and we took everybody's pictures from the event, we put them in an album. That's what a hashtag is. It's taking information from multiple sources and putting it in one place. So when I click on hashtag CVIOG FMP, this is all the different tweets that I did related to our program that I can go back and look at. For you all, if you were using hashtag GGFOA15, it would be all the tweets that people at the conference did who also tagged you at using hashtag GGFOA15. Okay, so a hashtag, you can come up with whatever hashtag you want on the fly. The way Twitter interprets that is it's saying, okay, they want to start grouping this conversation. So, I don't know how many of y'all use Twitter right now, but the way we find trending topics on Twitter, which is what is the conversation, what is the most popular thing people are talking about, is by looking at how many people are using the same hashtag. That's the way you figure out trending topics.
Tracy,
Yes.
this is Kelly Bush.
Hey, Kelly.
So, hey, do you just the hashtag groups, or do you have to have the @ and the hashtag? So does that group it down even farther, or no, just the hashtag?
The hashtag is all you need to group.
Okay.
If I want, like if I were tweeting about the conference, as I mentioned before, let's say I was sitting there in a room waiting for John Holsey to get up and start talking about internal controls, I'm gonna probably take a picture of John. I'm gonna use that picture as part of my tweet, put a few words in there. I'm gonna do hashtag GGFOA15 because I'm wanting to my tweet to join that conversation about the conference, and I'm probably gonna do an @ GGFOA because I want GGFOA to retweet what I said. And so if you look down here, and you can't see this very well, but there is if you're I don't know if you all have ever been on Twitter, but this particular icon, let me bring this over here to help you see this better. There's options under your tweets. And so let's say GGFOA tweeted something, and let's say that they had tagged me for some reason, T. Arner. I could go out there and I could say, this is great information. I want everybody in my group of followers to see this. So I could click these arrows that form a box, and that retweets, meaning the tweet that you guys just sent out is going to show up on my timeline now. So people who are following me are going to see that tweet. And see, that's how you start building this kind of web of information. Like at the Institute of Government where I work, there's a lot of people on Twitter. And so I like to go out there and see what they're saying and retweet it to help get the information out about the work we're doing. Or maybe there's an event that's coming up. You also have the option where you could select the star, and selecting the star is like favoriting it and kind of bookmarking it so you could come back to it later. But those are a couple of things. When you're on Twitter, people are going to expect you to tweet, and they're not going to want to follow you if you're not tweeting. And that can get a little challenging because I personally don't think I do that many exciting things that I have something to tweet about every day. But what I do is I go through my timeline, which is that's what we were looking at earlier. And I go back through, and if I see something that I like, if I see something like here's Charles Hall and he said something, and you'll notice I retweeted it. So that counts as a Twitter activity too, because now I'm saying, you know, Charles, I agree with what you said. I'm going to tweet that because I think more people need to see it. Or there could be other people that I'm following, and I'm like, yeah, that's really something that other people need to know about. This is my Twitter feed right now, but you can see I retweeted something from the Vincent Institute. So there's a lot of ways to be active. It's a lot easier when you're at something like a conference, because the kind of things that I don't know if I can get as far back as this summer when I was at the Charter Schools Conference, but basically what I was doing is I was tweeting about being there. I was tweeting about the speakers. If a speaker said something that I found particularly meaningful, I tweeted about it. You know, I took pictures like of there might be a screen, like a PowerPoint presentation up, or a stage that's set. You know, let's say we were getting ready for the ANA update. So you could take a picture of the stage, excited about the ANA update at hashtag GGFOA 15. So what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to generate conversation around your event, or for GGFOA, especially with things that you're doing, Anna, the newsletter, the webinars, you know, any training events that are coming up, information that you want to get out about, you know, something. Let's say you find a really great resource and you want to get it out to the membership. You want your members to know you're on Twitter, and you want them to follow you so you can start distributing information to them on the go. And I mean, that's the way people are starting to get their news, is through Twitter feed. And what will happen is a lot of times, because you've got that limitation of 140 characters, they will put a web address in, and that web address might be to their blog, or it might be to the GGFOA webpage, somewhere where there's a lot more information that the people could get if they want to, and they click on that link. Kelly, that was a really long-winded answer, but did that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. In my opinion, the hardest thing about this is knowing when to use all of this, right? I mean, I could have written this tweet and I could have not used any of this. You don't have to tag people. You don't have to use the hashtag. I don't think that that's very effective, because if I'm trying to spread a message to a broader audience, I want to use Twitter handles, which is these that's the Twitter handle. Um, yeah, so here's a good example. Here's John. He was going to be teaching this class, and so I said, send me a picture of the class. I'm going to tweet it. And so you can see, I said, Georgia Charter Schools, learning from John Holsey today about internal control. I put in at CVIOG_UGA because I wanted them to see my activity and I wanted them to retweet me. This is another a professional organization that we work with for charter schools. So I wanted them to see what I was putting out there and to retweet me. And then what I wanted to do is also see this particular tweet. I wanted it to go in what I call CVIOG, everything that's going on in our program. So that's why I put the hashtag there.
Hi, Tracy. This is Anna. Just have a quick question.
Sure.
If you have a tweet that you've already tweeted, can you go in later on and add and change it, like adding some of those hashtags and things like that? Because I know Peter has a program that he uses called Buffer that allows him to post things to different social media sites at the same time. But with Twitter, you'd probably want to go back and add in your hashtags and things like that. So I just didn't know if it's an option to go back in and edit something that's already out there.
I don't know. Let me look. I haven't ever tried to do that. I think it's in most cases, the problem with, not really the problem, but the Twitter feed is real time. And so it starts to get buried in the feed if it's something that's a little bit older, because if I go and I click on my Twitter, and so if like I'm on my phone and I go and I click on my Twitter icon, which I try to do daily, and there's an option for timeline, and then I can just scroll really fast down that timeline, but that's going to be based on what's happened recently. So what I would do, Anna, is I would retweet it just to make sure that you're getting out there to all the people. It has the hashtag, and you all would need to be very intentional with your use of the hashtag. Like, everybody wouldn't want to use a different hashtag. You as a board would want to say, do we want to track the GGFOA conference separately? And we're going to use, that's a significant event to us, so we want to annually say it's hashtag GGFOA 15, so that we can separate the tweets from one year to the next. Or if you just have other things like GGFOA news or whatever it is that you want to be able to aggregate information and very quickly get. It's like if I'm reading a tweet and it's, let's say I'm at the GGFOA conference, right? And I want to know, what are other people saying about what's going on here? I'm going to click that hashtag, and now I'm going to see what Sarah is saying, and Alicia Gamble, and Mike Bush, and Jim Pearson, and a vendor that happens to be there exhibiting, and anybody who's doing anything at the conference. I'm going to start getting real-time feedback about what they thought. And again, you have to keep in mind, Twitter is the way people voice their disapproval too. And so companies, they watch their Twitter feed, and they respond when people get out there and start talking about their products or services, because that's going to affect their business.
Right. And I was wondering if something did, for whatever reason, was tweeted that was inappropriate, would the administrator be able to go in and remove it, or how does
I know that you can block certain things. I know you can mute certain things. That's not something that I have gotten into, but I could figure out how to do that and let you guys know.
Okay. I mean, I seriously doubt we'll have that, but you never know. So.
Well, people didn't get the room they wanted. Their air conditioner was too loud. The elevator was too, you know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff that some people are going to focus on. And so, but what that allows you to know right away is you've got a dissatisfied person, and it gives you an opportunity to go and talk to them potentially and work out whatever their issue happens to be.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You can see here, I was at a conference, and so this is kind of like a timeline, and this is an exhibit that I had. I took a picture of this. We were getting ready to do state graduation, so I just took a picture of the certificates we were about to get out. This is our team, our financial management training team. We were all together. We're rarely all together, so we got a picture of us. We're getting ready for the state graduation ceremony. Um, you know, I took a picture of, let's see if I can get back to, I, I took a picture like here. Um, this guy, Tom Coleman, he was a keynote speaker at the conference, and so he was tweeting. Here's his Twitter, and he said, "I'm getting ready for the keynote." And when I was at the conference, I decided to follow him because he had something about his Twitter handle. So you'll notice that he said that, and I retweeted him. I was sitting there, just took a picture of my brochure with the guy that was about to talk. So I did that to tell people where I was. Here, this was another speaker, took a picture of the front of the conference brochure telling people about, where I was. This was our graduating class at the state, so took a picture of them. And then I wanted, this is the main Vincent Institute, and then this is our financial management program Twitter handles, so wanted them to retweet. You can see if I come down here to, you can actually look at the retweets typically. I'm not sure why that's not, because I like to see who's looking at my stuff. Well, I don't want to favorite myself. Did y'all see that just happen? You can click on the star, and that's the way you favorite. But you can typically, let me see why I can't do this right now. You can typically see like who favorited you or who retweeted you. And it's like the link isn't live, so I don't know what's going on with that. But you could typically click on those and you can see who's looking at my stuff. So this is just kind of, here's the picture of the training board that I took, and just a thank you to them for, what they had done. So you kind of get an idea. This is a class I was teaching. These are some ladies in the class. And I said, "Can I take your picture? I want everybody to know, I'm with you today teaching pivot tables." So I would say things to look out for is don't take a picture unless you've asked somebody if you can. It doesn't have to be a picture of a person. It could be a picture of a slide, a big picture of the room, picture of a program. The main thing is you don't want to take the picture today and wait 5 days to tweet it. Tweeting needs to be done pretty real time, which means about around when things are happening. What other questions do you have? Do y'all think you can tweet?
Yes. Tracy, this is Jim. I just activated my phone, downloaded the app. Will the tweets come up on your phone like the text do?
I think it depends on if you set a notification.
Okay.
I get an email, I think, when people retweet my stuff, and there was a setting, I think, that I chose that would allow that. You probably need to go into your profile.
I did. I activated my phone.
Okay. But I typically, if somebody retweets me, I get an email that says that they've retweeted me.
Okay.
But yeah, your phone is probably going to be the place you do most of your tweeting, because you're going to be out and about. If I'm doing marketing, like Anna, if you were doing marketing and you're going to put in web addresses, it's much easier to do that on your computer. Overall, what do you all think about? Do you want to try to do this for the conference?
I think it would be a good idea to try to do it for the conference. I don't know that I'll always remember to do it, but if there's enough people doing it, maybe, you know, it could be an effective tool for us.
And maybe we should do a survey of our members at some point and see who actually, you know, how many people know how to tweet, because I think that might be one of the issues. Maybe at future conference we could have a short little session, kind of like what we did right here, just kind of showing people how to tweet if we're not seeing the response that we're looking for.
I think too that's a great idea because you want to make sure that the people, your audience, is tweeting. This is very popular, not just among younger people, but older people as well. Just because, as I said, I track news and weather and traffic and all those kind of things on my phone. So when bad weather comes, you know, the news starts tweeting, I mean, just probably every few minutes about what's going on with the weather. Um, if you want to do it at the conference, what I would say you need to do is you need to come up with the hashtag that you want to use, and you need to get some people like committed to doing it. Like I would be happy to do it. There sounds like some of you on the phone would be very comfortable doing it. You know, if I'm doing it and I tag CVIOG, your stuff's going to get retweeted through them. I think we need to get a committed core of people doing it, so that it starts to catch on. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Hi, this is Dina. I was wondering if maybe we could have, like, you know, we have door prizes and stuff for like at the Tuesday night dinner or whatever. Maybe we can have a sign at the registration table or something, and whoever has the most tweets, you know, or if you follow us on Twitter, you get put in a drawing to, you know, to be eligible for a door prize, you get an extra ticket or something like that, to encourage people. I feel like if there's a tangible benefit for them other than, you know, just sign up and follow us, because for people that typically don't do it, maybe that could be something that would motivate people to
It's a
use
great
hashtag,
idea.
get on it.
I like that idea. The only concern I would have with that is how do you, when you offer something like that, as far as a drawing or something, how do you keep up with the people to know, like, for instance, most tweets? How would you know who had the most tweets?
Can you do, is that something that you can do, Tracy? I'm not sure. I'm not that familiar with it. I was just.
I'm not either, and I'm not saying it can't be done. I just don't know how we would keep up with that, or people that are following us on Twitter, how to pull that information out and put them in a specific drawing is my question. How would we do that?
The fastest way to do it, although I don't know how quickly, it depends on, you know, some people are pretty competitive. They may have a lot, but
Right.
if everybody's using the hashtag GGFOA 15, you just go out there and count from, you know, like if it was me at TRner4, oh, she had 25 tweets. That would be the way. I don't, you know, since this is a new thing, I wouldn't think you'd have hundreds of tweets going on from an individual. So especially this first year, I think that might be manageable.
Or there could be something, like, I've been to major, like, big conferences before where they have, where it is a big thing, and you could throw out a question, and whoever answers it correctly first, you know, gets some kind of prize or whatever. Whoever answers it correct within 30 minutes on Twitter or something. I don't know when we would do that, because, you know, Tuesday night's typically not the night where people are answering, you know, but I don't know, or maybe during the day, that Wednesday morning session after that, just have a prize, and whoever tweets first, you know, gets it. So that way you don't have to count all the tweets.
I think that's a good idea. I think, you know, just figuring out a plan, which I'm sure we can do, you know, it would work really well.
I think too, it's important to kind of get this rolling before the conference. And so, maybe 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, that you all start tweeting. There needs to be some communication to the membership that you're going to be doing this and getting them to follow. So whoever's got the GGFOA handle, getting them to start tweeting with the hashtag GGFOA15 if that's what you all decide you want to use. Getting excited about going to Jekyll, GGFOA 15 conference, different things that will be going on at the conference, whatever it is from a publicity standpoint you want to say. And so maybe even just a week before, starting to generate some excitement. And then, of course, when you're on the way to the GGFOA conference, can't wait to see you there. And let's say it was Alicia, Sarah. So what I would say, like, let me show you real quick. Excited about the GGFOA conference. On the way at GGFOA. See, it pops up, and hashtag GGFOA. Now remember the difference here. The at GGFOA means that's going to, you've tagged them basically and said, hey, I made this statement. Why don't you think about retweeting that? The hashtag means that this particular tweet will get thrown in the bucket with all the other tweets that have that hashtag. So the hashtag is the way that you aggregate all the individual activity going on with a particular event.
I'm attempting to tweet. So hold on.
Okay.
Tracy, I'm gonna
What's your Twitter handle, Alicia?
It's Allie_M_Sarah.
Is that right? ALI?
Yeah, but the last is SERRA.
Oh. See, there's a lot of, oh, it's at. Is that right?
Yes.
There you are. Okay.
Let me see if that worked. I just think I just did one. There we go.
You just did one? Okay, so I'm going to do follow. Go back to.
You can see the last time I actually tweeted was in 2012.
Is this it? Okay, so there's your tweet.
Yes.
See, there you go. So I'm going to retweet her. You see what happens here? I'm going to retweet. And this is exactly right. Ready for this at GGFOA, hashtag that's the conference. She tagged me. It showed up in my feed. I can retweet it. I'm ready for the conference. Well, there's Alicia Gamble, Allie_M. Is that the way it was? Allie_M?
_SERRA.
No, why yours doesn't come up when I do that. But I could, if I wanted her to see that I'm ready to, I could tweet that. In this case, I am going to retweet it. And you could put a reply or a message in if you wanted to. So that's why you want to check your Twitter feed every day, because there may be things being said that you want to know about and that you want to retweet or you want to favorite, that kind of thing. Are there other questions or comments? I can send out, I have prepared this just kind of as my list of discussion points. So I can send this to I'll send this to you, Alicia, if you want to send it to everybody.
Okay.
I'll add how to block or mute people. What were other questions I wasn't able to ask or answer that you all have? You can certainly send me an email if you start trying to do it and you have questions and need some help. It sounds like you do want to go for trying to do this year, right, Alicia?
Yes.
So somebody's going to have to take the lead in communicating to the membership that you're going to be tweeting, and you want them to tweet using this hashtag. So however you want to do that on the website, if you
Well,
want to.
I was thinking about once, once we get a little bit closer and where we have where it says on the homepage, register now on that little banner bar on the bottom, I can just say follow us on Twitter and then put our hashtag GGFOA 2015.
Well, you'd want to do at GGFOA, that's the way you follow, and then tweet about the conference.
Hashtag.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I got you.
So if somebody's following you, they need the @ sign identification. If all we're doing is aggregating data, you're going to need, aggregating all the comments. That's when you use the hashtag.
Okay.
Other questions?
Tracy,
Yes.
just add to that list of Twitter pointers. I don't know, it may already be on the list, but the tinyurl.com.
Oh, that's a good idea, John. And I need to add how to block. Sometimes people start to annoy you on Twitter. So there's ways to block or mute them so you don't see their tweets anymore. So I'll add that as well. And I've showed you how to do a photo. I'll add the tiny URL. I'll do the block and the mute. What I would do for you all is just start practicing. If you have something that you can think of, either about the conference, if you're working on something about the conference. I mean, you've already got followers, so you can start kind of practicing. Just remember, when you tweet, everybody sees it. Other things, Anna, you should also be able, if we could work together on this, but you should be able to put a link and a tweet about the GGFOA newsletter when it's released as well. You could highlight different articles from the newsletter, put a link to just that article as well. If y'all are reading an article and you're like, wow, this is really great, I'd love for the membership to see this, you could tweet about it and put a link to the article there. It really is a way for you to connect with your membership throughout the year, not just at the conference, but we start building this awareness for this particular event. So if we were tweeting and it wasn't related to the conference, then you're not going to want to use the hashtag GGFOA15, but perhaps if there's another topic that comes up that you want to start aggregating. Let me just give you this crazy example from entertainment. Remember a huge big deal when Bruce Jenner became Caitlyn Jenner, right? So if you go to Twitter and you looked at trending topics, hashtag Caitlyn Jenner was blowing it out of the water because so many people were tweeting and putting comments and using that hashtag. So if you're wanting to see what's going on in the world right now and what's a hot topic, look at what's trending on Twitter, and that's going to be those things that have the most tweets associated with the hashtag. So that's like a real life example that kind of helps you, see how it's used. Okay. Like I said, if you have questions as you start to use it, please feel free to email me. I don't know everything about Twitter, but I'm a recent user and I've really seen the value of it as a tool, a communications tool. And I actively follow GGFOA. If y'all send me your Twitter handles, I'll follow you too. I hope that you'll follow me at TArner4. John Holsey's going to start tweeting too, aren't you, John Holsey? So,
Absolutely. I mean, I've already added my avatar, Tracy. I'm so excited about this.
all right. See, it's a good day when you can get John Holsey in the Twitter sphere. I'm excited about this. I know y'all wanted to do this for a while, but I really think it's going to be a great new thing for GGFOA and your membership and keeping in, just connected.
Tracy, just one last thing. I just wanted to make sure I understood. So, is there a way on Twitter just to send a message to someone without everybody else seeing it?
Yes, there is.
If I click the reply,
everybody's going to see that. At the top, you see
okay,
where it says messages?
yes,
That's really where you would send a personal message. I mean, if I'm going to send
okay,
somebody a message, I prefer email or a text
right, right.
because I just don't want to make a mistake. But sometimes people don't have your email or they don't have your phone number, so the only thing they have is you as a Twitter contact. So that's an effective way, to communicate with them offline without having everybody see it.
Okay.
Just make sure, when I'm tweeting, I'm very, very, I'm concentrating that I don't make a mistake, and that can be hard to do when you're like in a social setting, but it's really important that when you're tweeting, you really get the message out you intend to get out.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to send out my tips to you all. Y'all think about it and let me know. And Alicia, Sarah, are you going to take the lead in trying to get the membership aware of what you're trying to do?
I don't know that I'll take the lead, but I will definitely find somebody to take the lead and assist them in every way possible.
And I'll be happy to work with whoever takes the lead as well. Just let me know who. And we can like go back and forth and craft how things look. If somebody is uncertain, I'll be glad to work with them.
Okay.
Do you feel like you know more about it than you did before?
I do.
I do, yes.
Absolutely.
The other thing I would say too is another learning avenue is go and find people and follow them. Like I follow Charles Hall. He's one of my consultants. He tweets about 5 or 6 times a day. You don't have to tweet that much, but I try to find people who've been tweeting for a while, and I start looking at the way they write their messages, and that's another tool for kind of learning what you want your style to be and the things that you're going to tweet about. Okay. Well, I appreciate you all meeting with me on GoToMeeting. This is a great virtual tool and saves people getting in their car and driving around. So I think it was effective today. Like I said, I recorded this, so I should be able to give it a link. If y'all are okay, I'll just put it out on YouTube and send it to you, a link. Does that sound good? Does anybody want to watch this again?
That's fine by me. I mean, if we have a link and, somebody wants to pull it up, we can, send it to them and maybe it'll be beneficial for them.
The other thing we could do, Alicia, and y'all can talk about this without me, I could do a short tutorial on how to use it. Y'all could put it on your website if you feel like your membership would need something like that.
Yeah, we'll definitely think about that and see which direction we want to go with it. But I think, definitely we're going to try to utilize it for the conference this year, and maybe going forward, future boards will, continue to utilize it for several things, for our, webinars, our trainings, any kind of new programs, the newsletter. I mean, I definitely see the benefit in using it. So.
Yeah, and I think if we're going to ask our members to tweet at the conference, it would be good to have some kind of, be able to refer them to a tutorial before the conference itself so that they have some kind of clue how to use it. I don't know, I guess that's up to Alicia, what we want to do with that, but I think that's a great idea.
But you can just let me know. Y'all can talk about it, Alicia, and you can just let me know. I really want to support you all in this effort. As I said, I follow GGFOA, and I think if we establish a good network of people who are following each other, it's going to be a really good way to communicate.
I agree.
All right, well, I'm going to end the meeting, and like I said, you all have my email address, so if you get off the call and you're like, I should have asked another question, please just let me know, and I'll be happy to try to help you. And I'll send you this this document as well.
Thanks, Tracy.
Okay, thank you. Y'all have a good week. Okay, bye.